Hello, all viewers. Welcome to the 23rd Khelo Chess India team battle. We have six teams today battling out, and low attendance from Khelo Chess India. Where are all the teammates, buddies? Where are you? Just try to join the tournament as soon as possible. Try to play for Khelo Chess India, my team. I can join, but I have to show more games today, so I'm waiting for at least to show a few games. Then probably I will join back and try to. Uh, Play a game or two. So just trying to make sure that the live coverage is reached to everyone. I'm sharing the URLs. Give me a minute, guys. So the tournament has started. Let's check the first game between Chess Burster. He is a new player from Gujarat Lions to Chess Burster. And Om Namah Shivai, we have seen this player recently playing from Shivai Chess. So the E4 is the first move. And this is again a good battle of Sicilian. It's an open Sicilian game. Knight c3, and this would be the next move would be interesting. A6. So a6, whenever a6 is played, this is called as Nachdorf defense. So all the viewers out there who are not aware of this opening, this is again a very good tool. This a6 move. So whenever a6 is played in Sicilian, it is called as a Nachdorf variation. And Nachdorf variation have been used by the great Fischer. So you can look at his games. He has done a lot of research in Najdorf, Sicilian Najdorf. And even Gary Kasparov is one of the greatest players of Sicilian Najdorf. So if you want to learn Sicilian Najdorf, it is a good option. You can learn and you can try to be like the grandmasters like Bobby Fischer, the world champion himself, and the Gary Kasparov, who was again a world champion, unbeatable world champion, we can say, in his times. So this is a very nice opening, guys. You can learn from this. Sicilian Najdorf. Now this is b5. This is what generally black plays, tries to play b5. Then later on he puts his knight to a5, knight c4 is there, and that's how he generally plays on the queen side. So actually knight c6 is not a good move in some of the lines. This line, especially the bishop e2 line. Now it has to be developed on d7. From d7 it can go to b6. From d7 it can go to b6. b6 it can attack d5. It can go to c4. It can go to a4. So this knight becomes a very active piece, and it also has to make sure that after it goes to b6, in case of g5 comes, then this knight has another square to go to d7, and then this knight can go to d7 and come to c5 also. So there are a lot of plans. Once you start looking at the games from the grandmasters, you come to know about these plans, these different plans. So right now, as I said before, that knight b6 have been played, should have been played, because this now knight could have gone to d7 instead of e8. E8 is actually not a good square for this knight. It is better on d7 so that it can come back to f to c5. It can go to c5 or it can go to b6 and try to attack again. But this is, I think, it's winning for right now after this pawn takes, because h6 is going to come fast. The attack is going to take a lot of time here. So rook c8 was a waste of move. I feel not a waste, but there would have been better moves wherein black would have put his knight on b6 and try to attack as soon as possible. So playing rook c8 has given some more time to uh, bite here to launch his attack. I think first check should have been given if I am not. Okay, so now the check and queens is the threat. So that's why this bishop is being offered by white. A good move. So those who are not aware why black has not captured the bishop, so white has captured the pawn here. He's ready to give away his bishop. The reason is, if now bishop is captured, then it is a pawn takes pawn check, king takes pawn, and white will get another queen here. That is the reason why he has not captured the bishop. The black has not captured the bishop here. Okay, so Prasad JS is asking what is the URL to join. Prasad JS, we have there is a link in the description box below, wherein you can click, and first you have to join our team. Actually, you can join one of our teams which are playing. You can join my team, Khelo Chess India. I'm giving the URL there in the chat box. Prasad JS, if you are able to see the URL, just let me know so that I can be sure that you have got how to join this tournament. And there is also a link to join the WhatsApp group. You can join our WhatsApp group where you will get this links daily. We also send updates of all the tournaments that are happening on daily basis in that group. So let's quickly check what happened here. Couple of moves back. G7 and knight takes G7 and bishop was saved here. Black white did not went for this check. He is saving this for something better. So H takes G6 was played and rook to G1. Now these two rooks are played beautifully in the open file. So as I said before, that rook c8 was a bit of a doubtful move. It has given some time for the white to launch his attack quickly. Right now h7 is defended, but h8 is a weak square now. H8 is really a weak square. Even now, I think a5 was better instead of b5. So if bishop takes b5, then e4 can be played and this knight can be harassed. Also, if there is any distraction for this queen, then there would be a mate on c2. So probably black has to think on the similar lines that how we can deflect this queen from here. I think rook h7 is playable now, which will be answered by bishop f6 to support this knight or rook g8. Okay, g6 is hanging. Okay, I missed that. So rook g8 to support the knight. What can be played here? Can we play knight c5? Knight c5, dc5, then d6. But queen can capture, right? So okay, it's not worth right now to put knight c5. This was one of the threats after queen d3. So queen d7 has defended that threat now, and now this knight will come into the game with knight e4 and knight g5 probably, or knight g5. Yeah, it can be playable. It is playable. Now there is a threat on g6. How will white respond? White is under tremendous time pressure here. I still feel that white has a good chance of winning because of this knight on e4. Yep. Now knight has now jumped on e4, and from here I think it will control all these critical squares. So this bishop has to be activated somehow. It's not an easy position to play for both the players. Black's king is exposed. White has some tactics of this knight, this queen, and black has his pieces somewhat okay placed, but I really appreciate this pawn structure. If he's able to get this pawn structure and capture this f3 pawn later in the game, then it might be an easy win for black. So right now this knight is attacked, queen is attacked, and this exchange was compulsory. d5 is played now. Probably c7 is expected soon. I think c7 could have been played. Check. Yeah, this is manageable for black, I think now, because this pawn is stopped and these will be the two connected passers. This b4 pawn is nicely sitting here because it's not allowing either c4 or a4. It is blockading or it is restraining this white's freedom on the queen side to push the pawns. Yeah, I think now pawn push and then knight comes to e4. Yep. There is a threat of this knight also going here. Now that would give some chance to white actually to get a draw. Now king c4 is And now I think you can play a4. a3, yeah, a3 is better because now pawn cannot capture because of this king takes. And now I think white should win this one now. If I am b4, I think, yeah, it was forced. It was forced. This is a draw. Oh, c4, excellent move. I was in too hurry to conclude a result here. c4 is something I missed. c4 is an excellent move, guys. Under time pressure, c4 is really a very good move. I appreciate this c4 move. Now this has given white a clear winning chance. We'll go back to that position. Okay, after the game is over, we'll go back to that position and I'll show you. So black resigned. Let me show you the c4 move. Okay, so generally in the time pressure, what happens is this. Uh, some of the players are concerned about this pawn more, that this is going to be a queen, and they just capture this pawn just to make sure that they don't lose half of their points, at least to get a draw. And then if black will capture this pawn, it is going to be a draw. Okay, because white cannot go ahead of the pawn then. But look at this move, c4 under time pressure. I think chess buster had 18 seconds at that moment, and he figured out that yes, c4 is the winning move. So this is the critical moment wherein you have to spend your time and you have to figure out, even though you have 10 seconds, you can invest your 6 seconds to get the correct move on the board and then get a win for you. So very good play from chess busters. I really like the c4 move. You have to learn from this moves, guys. And then king moves and we can capture the pawn, and then it is a clear win for white. So let's go back to the tournament and let's check a game between Yasin King and Sonia Tharwa. Or okay, let's check this game. Yasin King and Sonia Tharwa. Sonia Tharwa, I think, likes to play d4 and f4 in the d4 and London system. So Yasin King, bishop f4, d6, e3, knight h6, c3, castles, knight d2, knight c6, bishop d3, f6, bishop goes to g3, king h8, h4. So this is kind of interesting, guys. This is London system that white is trying to play here with this pawn structure, and bishop is out of this structure, so that the bishop is not a bad piece. And then bishop sits on d3 and tries to attack this pawns. Now the thing is that this structure, which black is trying to play, the knight goes to f7 and then he can play e5. That's what black tries here. Okay, so let's check knight f7, h5, g5, just trying to make sure that this castle, these pawns are not exchanged. The structure remains intact so that this rook cannot become active. So g5, queen c7, trying to attack this at 6 h7 pawn now. I think h6 will be played. Yes, long castles, and now black has a free hand of attacking the center or on the queen side. Okay, now he has to go full fledged, and it's difficult for white now to get something like g3 and f4 to get these pawns exchanged. Okay, so better for black this position. That's what I feel. Knight takes, pawn takes, and now black has this beautiful open file on f file. Yeah, so bishop g6, queen f6, rook to f1, king g8. Interesting, king g8. I'm not able to figure out why king g8 is being played. f4, pawn takes, and queen e7, f5. This bishop is nicely placed now. This pawns over here and this bishop. Knight goes to e5, knight e4, bishop d7. So players have completed their development. This bishop was the last piece whose development was pending. So bishop has come to d7 now, and now king b1. We have bishop to c6, f6. f6 is attacking the pawns, the bishop and the queen. It's a fork. So he has to capture the pawn. Black has to capture the pawn. So bishop f6 is forced. Knight f6, rook f6, and rook to e1. Just trying to pin this knight and probably trying to just go for this exchange, because that will then put this pawn on e5. It will be an isolated pawn which can become a target in future for white. So rook to f8 and queen to d2, rook e6. Bishop goes to c2, probably trying for bishop b3 now, and queen d3. Yes, queen d3 is also playable to get a mate on h7, g6. As far as I'm wrong, rook e6 can be played actually. So knight goes back to e5, pawn takes, bishop takes, pawn takes, and bishop b. That's what I was saying, that bishop is now can go to b2, b3, and then queen can go to d3. So there were two threats of bringing this bishop back from g6 to c2, and one of the threats is now achieved of pinning this rook and getting an exchange. So king moves, bishop takes, queen takes, and this should be now winning for white if he is able to stop this pawn. Queen d4 check, king moves, rook to f1, rook takes, and now e3. This pawn is rolling very fast now, I think, but okay, there is a checkmate threat on, not a mate, but there is a check on, I mean, it's a mate threat on h8. How can black defend it? I think this check has to be given first. Okay, queen check, and yeah, that's what I was saying. Exchange the queens, king to c1, and I think bishop takes g2 can be played now. Just this check and king d1 and king e1. I think that should have been sufficient. Rook will go to h7 now. Try to capture this h6 pawn. I think that should have been played actually. Rook h7. Now king can come to g5 and attack this pawn. White will lose all his pawns on the king side now, and this there will be an extra passer with black for this. That's a mistake actually. The rook went to d7. Just let me go back few moves. So here, rook was on e7. Rook should have gone to h7 to capture this pawn. So rook taking rook to d7 gave some time to black now, and g5 is going to save black from losing. That's what I feel. Oh, the bishop is trapped there. Look at this bishop, it's trapped. Okay, but yeah, black has this threat of king e2, king f2, and trying to queen there. Yeah, that's a narrow escape for black. But still, black holds a upper value, big upper hand because of these pawns extra. Oh, that's a free pawn, free bishop over there on b5. But these two pawns, they are going to be very difficult to stop right now. I think black should win this one now. First g6. So just three moves to queen, and white has four moves. So it should be a win for white. It should be win for black now. This pawn is going to fall soon. So all the beginners out there who are watching, and that's c6 pawn which you have to take care of. So just a technique that you can learn from black now, that you have to make sure that this king doesn't go ahead and carry this pawn forward. You have to bring your king nearer to this pawn and try to capture it as quickly as possible. Now king can come here and just capture the pawn. Okay, so there is a comment from Mayank sir. There is a problem in leeches. I held a draw, but it gave me a 0 point. And there is a input from Namdev on that it's not a problem. Namdev Lokhare says that they have done this because many players draw the game continuously to be in prize or at the same ranking. So if you lost a streak and draw one game, and if drew another, then get a 0 point. So that's a good input, Namdev. It's a good information to all the viewers out there. So that's a new change. Is it a new change, Namdev, if you are listening to me, or it's something which has been there from long time? You can just mention in the comment section. I'm going back to the tournament now, and let's try to join now and try to play a game. I have shown two games till now from different players, and let's try to play. Okay, Khelo Chess India is currently leading. That's nice to know. I was expecting, actually, the players were less. So I thought that Khelo Chess India must be on fifth or sixth position, but they are leading right now. Kawal is leading with 8 points. So Kawal, I think I have pronounced your name correctly now. Last time you had complained that I'm using the N word N in your name, Kanwal. That's N is silent, so I have to call you as Kawal. So this is simple Catalan structure that you can play, guys. If you don't want to study opening, just play this knight f3, bishop g2, castles, and then play d4 c4. Is the simplest opening that you can play without knowing much of the theory here. and then it's all up to your middle game techniques. Okay, so what's happening here? Knight e4 is possible. Yep, knight e4 is very much possible. I have this move knight d4. So that knight d4 I can meet with knight takes e6, and then knight takes e4 can be played. So knight c6 again, interesting move. I can play bishop f4. I think I can just put my bishop on d6 now. So that's how you can play a simple opening of this knight f3, d4, g3, bishop g2 castles, and then it's all about your middle game ideas, how you use these two bishops and these knights in the center. Okay, so that's your skill. Rook c8. What is the idea of rook c8? Just to attack this pawn and support the c6 square. So nothing much to worry about. There is one threat actually which I'm a bit worried about. That is knight takes d4, queen takes d4, and then this knight comes to e4 and tries to attack my uh, queen. Okay, so that's what I'm worried about. Let's try to play bishop d6 first. Try to get the support of this. Try to cut off the queen support to this d5 pawn. Okay, so rook to e8, and now I think I can play e3. E3 is for if this knight captures, then I can capture back with the pawn. Yep, now this c5 pawn is very well grounded there. So let me just play b4 and support this pawn again. I think pawn takes will be played. I can capture with this pawn. I cannot capture with the d pawn. Then it will give this bishop a lot of good squares. So challenging my bishop here. Okay, you want to challenge my bishop. Hmm. Should I exchange or should I retract the bishop to e5 to attack this knight? Okay, so I can see a reply from Namdev Lokhare. It's a new rule from LiChess. Thanks, Namdev, for updating this. Really helps us a lot. It's really nice to have a lot of discussions on the new updates on LiChess so that you are up to date and you don't feel that you are being cheated by the server or by any of the players who are playing on the board. Now it's time to develop the rook, guys. Okay, pawn takes. Should I capture with the pawn? Let me capture with the pawn now. I want to target this pawn. Now, this will be my next target to attack. I first have to block it. Okay, knight pawn push is done. Let me attack that pawn first. Knight takes or queen takes and be done. I think d3 will be played now. Knight a7 is also available. Rook b8 is a problem. Rook b8. Yeah, rook b8 can be a problem because then this b4 pawn is hanging. So rook b8, knight takes d4, rook takes b5, knight takes e6, queen takes d1, rook takes d1, f takes e6, and then rook can capture the pawn on e6. I can get an extra pawn, then I will have an extra pawn on this c5 too. Then use it for attack and get a queen. So I finally got this pawn, and I think I can play rook takes e6 now. Simple idea is to get another fork here after knight takes e6, attack the queen, attack the rook, and get the pieces exchanged so that I'll be using these two extra pawns to get a queen very soon. So Mayank is asking, sir, how to become a very strong player like you? So Mayank, there is no secret to become a strong player. You have to work hard. You have to work smart, and it's like there is a formula from my side which I used generally to study the chess. So that formula is, first you have to play a lot of games in the openings that you want to play. For example, if I like to play French defense, I should play at least 100 games in French defense. And once those games are done, then from 101st game you start analyzing each of your game. So what it means is it's a cycle: play, analyze, stop, learn something new, play again, again analyze, again stop, again learn something new. So it has to go in circles. Okay, it's a cycle. First play, then analyze, then stop for some time, try to learn something new, and then again, what is this? I think queen is attacking the rook. So that's the cycle that you have to follow. If you follow that cycle, I am definitely sure that in next 4 to 5 months you will be at one of the good. You will be one of the good rated players. No doubt about that. Okay, so I have a rook here. Let's just try to exchange the rooks. Queen takes, and I think I should be winning this comfortably now. I still have this muscle, this nice double attack over here. Okay, if the queen moves, but I still have this one, right? So queen check and queen takes knight. So let us capture the knight. There is just one check which can be intercepted by the bishop, and nothing to worry about then. So that's the formula for becoming good player, Mayank. Lot of practice, analysis. Let's pause and try to check the new game now. The next game, let us just pick up from. I think this is a new player, Ajit Chanu. So let's check his game, Ajit Chanu's game. Ajit Chanu is from Chess Blasters. Vivek is from Gujarat Lions. Let's check what happened in the opening. C4 was played. That's an English opening. Replied by C5, G3, Knight C6, Bishop G2, D6, Knight C3, Knight F6, E3, G6, Knight E2, Bishop G7, Castle. This is kind of a closed games, guys. So both players have decided not to put the pawns in E and D files to get some exchange to avoid any exchanges in the center, and go for the fianchetto variation, which is lot safer for both the players. And it comes to the middle game then, whose middle game is better, who knows which breaks you have to follow, and uh, which tactics can be used with this dangerous fianchetto bishops. Queen c7, pawn to d3, and now a6 again. Sometime the b5 is expected, and white wants to play b4, but the c3 knight will be hanging, so he has to take care of that. b4 is played, so this knight can now move to any of the squares to give a discovered attack. So b6 is played first, pawn takes, d4, pawn takes, and now bishop b7. Okay, bishop goes to f4, knight h5, bishop e3, rook b8, d5, attacking this knight on c6 as well as the pawn on e6. Now black replied with pawn takes, knight is attacking the queen. Now that's a beautiful square for this knight to be. He is very happy on this square d5. He's attacking critical squares of e7, f6, c7, b6, f4. I think it's okay. It's not good, but this knight h5 is bit of misery right now because he is planning f5, but I think knight on d5 is better than this knight on h5. So queen a5, a4, queen goes to d8, bishop goes to b6. Now look at these pieces. They are sitting very nicely. This bishop is also nice. Only this knight is back, but soon he'll be joining the attack on probably d4 or f4. So queen moves, and now e6. So this is a nice fixating of this bishop and pawn on the a file. This cannot be dislodged very soon. And then we have knight to f6, knight f4. As I said before, that this knight is going to join soon. He's just come into the game. Knight takes, and now knight to e5, queen b3, rook to c8, knight e3 goes back. This bishop is now allowed to be exchanged. And what does black play? Black exchange the bishops. King takes, and now queen check. So this knight f3 check could be dangerous. What did white play? White played f3, blocking the check, and knight takes c4. The c4 was hanging. So knight takes c4, queen takes c4, queen takes, rook takes. That leaves black a pawn up, and I think black should be able to take advantage of this extra pawn now because this bishop is very nicely placed on g7. So rook e8, rook d1, rook e6, f4, and that's the current position, guys. Oh, my battery is low. Give me a sec, guys. I'll just connect my charger. Yeah, I'm back. So f4 was played. Bishop f6, king to g4, h5, king h3, king g7, rook to d2, bishop e7. So this is the position wherein you have to find a winning plan for black. How can black win in this? Okay, so rook to e8 and f5, g5, bishop to d4 check, bishop f6, bishop takes, king takes, and still I think this is holding a great advantage over the pawn. So black won this game, but let's check how black won this one. Okay, so this was the position. Then we have rook check, king moves, rook takes d6. So d6 pawn eventually fell off, but I think this a5 is also, e4 is going to fall as well. So black is going for all the pawns on king side now. Check, king goes to f8, rook check, king goes to g7 and a6. So this is something that white is very happy about, to get a queen as soon as possible, but probably rook a5 or rook a4 will stop this queening. So rook a5 was played in the game, a7, and then rook doubles trying to attack this pawn twice, and we have this rook to e7. And now I think it's simple cakewalk for black to just push these pawns as quickly as possible. So rook e2, then we have rook exchange offered. Rook goes to e8, rook takes pawn, and that's a winning for black now. Okay, let's go back to tournament and check the next game. Let's try to check one of the, let's check who is top in the individual score. Sony Atharu from Chess Blasters is on top. Then we have Kawal from Khelo Chess India. When we have Parik Harikrishna. So look at the Gujarat Lions player Parik Harikrishna, Smith Mystery Chess Buster, beginner player Jiten, Hiren Gajar, and Kaushal Vyas. All are from Chess Blasters, and they are from the Gujarat Lions, and they are topping today. So today I think Suni Atharva and other guys from Chess Blasters might have to face a tough competition from Gujarat Lions. So remember, guys, Chess Blasters won yesterday. Gujarat Lions was on second or third position. So today it's going to be a neck-to-neck competition between these two players. So let's try to find another game here. So Kunjali Marakkar is playing against Yasin King. Let's check this game. So guys, I'm back again. I think there was some lag in the network, so my voice was not reaching you guys, or there was some issue with my system. So I think I'm back, and I can see a comment from Subhash saying, "Hi bro, hi Subhash, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the Khelo Chess India YouTube channel." So this is a position, guys. Black has very well tried to do a very good attack on Black's king, and he has got trapped Black's king, but he just has to deliver that meeting punch as soon as possible, or else White would just walk away with his defense. It's going to be a close one. Should White go for actually the queen h1 check before this rook h5? Is it losing for? It's not losing for Black, but White has well defended his king actually. We have to go back to that position and check if rook queen h1 was winning or not. I still feel queen h1 there was some mating threats which Black could have delivered. This bishop is going to be the whole difference in the game. Oh, that's the exchange of queens, and I think that will help Black to win this one very quickly. It will be a rook versus bishop ending, and Black has too many pawns. He has his h passer. There are two pawns here which can be exchanged with this pawn and get Black can get another passer here. So I think that's a win for Black. Easy win for Black. So White resign. Let's go back to the tournament now. Last 22 minutes remaining, guys. Let's try to join back and try to play a game now. So currently Chess Blasters are leading. They have overtaken Gujarat Lions. So I have Akash with me to play a game. Let's try to play e5 and play a regular line. I think bishop b5 d4. Interesting. This is called as the Spanish Scotch game, Scotch gambit, you can say, wherein White tries to give away this d4 pawn and tries to gain more attack as much as possible. So there's another line of queen h4 here. Okay, so if you are playing e4 e5 line, you can study that line also, not queen h4. In the initial, there was which knight, in case of knight d4, there is a queen h4 line, which you can try to learn. So now I am gifting a lot of opportunities for my opponent. I have queen e4 move available. Let's try to give that. Queen check. Bishop goes here, and now bishop b4 check. Knight c3, we can capture the c3, pawn takes, and now d5. That completes our development, guys. So attack on my queen. Okay, let's try to put the queen on here. Knight can go to f6 now, and the queen can come to h5. Now there is a threat of this bishop takes h3, not immediately, but sometime later in the game that might be possible. I also have this bishop f5 move just to get this bishop out of the game, this squared bishop of White. And White has started attacking now. He has put his bishop on e2, and the threat is of probably knight e5 or knight g5. Knight e5 I think is more playable. So I can then play my queen to f5. So let's castle up first. Knight e5 will be played now. I'll be answering with queen to f5. I have another move of this knight e4 trying to attack this c3 pawn. Knight takes c6, pawn takes, and bishop d3 will be back again. Yep, that was expected. I can play knight e4. No, knight e4, f3 will be played, and then this knight will have to suffer for remaining of his life. So I should just try to play this queen to h5, try to exchange the queens. c7 is hanging now. So let me just try to play this move, try to just attack this weak pawns. So g5 is expected. Okay, f3 was played. Okay, so now I have to make sure that c7 is defended. I can capture this pawn first. I think f pawn will capture back, and now I can just play this move. Then I can go here d6 so that this pawn is safe on c7. So knight d6, and now bishop can go to e6 probably. Then I can go for this rook exchange on b8 to get the control of b file. Let's put the bishop on e6. Now this file is closed. White has the option of pushing the pawns, and I would like to just take the control of this b file now to have a simple ending. Okay, the pawns are exchanged. Okay, so rook can get an entry in the b file. Okay, so rook b7 is now expected. I can just try to put pressure on this rook. Rook b8 is now expected. So we can exchange the rooks. Now rook will come to b7. He will keep attacking this a7 pawn, as well as he'll try to attack the c5 pawn, c6 pawn by playing rook c7. So let's try to get rid of this weakness first. c6 was my weakness, guys. So rook c7 would have attacked the c6 pawn. So let's try to get rid of the weaknesses which are there in your camp first, so that you might be comfortable in the ending. Right now, even now, I think white can attack this. No, white cannot attack the d6 pawn right now. So let me just push the pawn, get rid of another weakness. So last 19 minutes remaining, guys. Last 17 minutes remaining, guys. Now on the clock for this. So that allows this one. I should have played king f8 first. Hmm. Right. I should have played king f8 first. But let me just sacrifice that pawn and check if I can get something on the b file. First the c4 move, and then the rook b8. Oh, bishop to f5. Let us go for this line. I'll try to capture the a2 pawn first after giving this check. So bishop takes, pawn takes, rook takes, and the check first. Try to capture this pawn, and then try to go on h2. Should I save the a5 pawn? Rook a5 will be played then. Then I can go for the check, and I can come to, yeah, let me play a4 first. So rook a5, then I can give this check and bring my rook to a2. Let's try to play that variation. Now you have to, yeah, I have to advance my king now. Rook check is expected. Oh, let's try to go here. There is a rook check now, coming soon. Rook takes a5 would be a blunder now because of this check. and then I will be winning because this king will go out of the magic square. Oh, rook takes e5. He has blundered. I think so. It's a huge blunder, guys. I think I might win after this. I might win because after rook takes rook, king will come here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this king is out of the magic square. Okay, this is a magic square that is there on the board right now. Okay, and if this king is outside the magic square, it cannot capture this pawn. So what I have done is I have just counted the moves to queen. What I have done is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Count the same number of moves there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, and this is going to be a rectangle. If the king is out of the rectangle, then you can win easily. So just capture the rook without thinking much now. And this is going to be a win. The king cannot come back and capture the pawn here. Yeah, we can play this move. King is one more short. So that's the technique, guys, you have to learn from this all live broadcasts. How to win in these situations, how to keep your calm, not to lose your cool, and win easily. Okay, so let's pause and go back to the tournament now and just try to watch another game. Let's try to pick up a game, top game from here, who all are playing Kagwa Master. Let's try to check Kagwa Master. Is also a nice player. So this I think is winning for white already. Yes, this is winning for white. Let's go back. And we have cost accountant versus Kaval. Let's check this game. It has not been, it's a middle game, right? They have reached middle game. So d4, c5, knight f3, pawn takes, knight takes. So this is called as a Benoni defense, guys. Those who are not aware, when white plays d4, black plays c5, it is called as Benoni defense. And when white plays e4, black plays c5, it is called as Sicilian defense. Okay, so knight f3, pawn takes, knight takes, e6, knight b3, a6, c4, b6, knight c3, bishop b7, e4, knight c6, bishop e3. So this is actually a different idea that black is playing, because generally we see a move like g6, bishop g7, and castles here in the Benoni defense, but this is something different, and this might be risky for black because the b6 pawn is actually, this position is not going to be much happy. This is going to be weakness. Light square bishop is not there now. So c5 and d6 are going to be the weak squares for black. Yep. So I think soon white should try to target this d6 square by playing probably queen d2 and getting the rook on d1. So this d6 and d7 should be problematic for black. So Subhash, I'm making a full screen for you. Uh, I always forget your tips to go full screen. Bishop c6, and now I think rook d1 should be played here. Knight d5, excellent move because this king is stuck in center, and if e takes, then pawn takes. It will be a check to king, and next move white can capture the bishop. So it's a nice move, knight d5. Black just has to move his queen to b7 now. This move would be manageable, queen b7. So all the viewers out there, just a shout out to all of you. If you haven't subscribed to channel, do subscribe to the channel. That keeps me motivated to bring you all these beautiful videos on chess. So just make sure you're also sharing with your friends so that they're aware, they're learning something from this beautiful live broadcast every day. And we have this program every day, this live broadcast at 9:30. You can tune in, you can learn something new, and this is absolutely free. There are no charges for this. So if pawn push, then yeah, I think pawn can be pushed because now after the exchange, queen takes. If queens are exchanged, then this pawn is going to be a backward pawn. The pawn which doesn't have any support and which can be a target is called as a backward pawn. So this d7 pawn is going to be the weak pawn. And if white puts his rooks in the d file, then this d pawn cannot be saved, I think, in the long run. So black is trying to maintain his queen on the board, not trying to exchange of the queens. Knight d6, knight is sitting beautifully on d6, but the question is, what is it going to do there? Unless it is being helped by either of the rooks or the queen, that knight won't be useful. I think rook a1 can be played now, b3 can be given off to get a kingside attack, probably rook a1, then but still, yeah, after saving, yeah, queen f3 is possible now by black side. Queen f3 after queen c2. Queen can come to f3. Yes, that's what I was saying. Now the g2 is hanging and b3 is hanging. Everything is hanging now suddenly. So queen c2 was not a good move. You are just allowed black to enter your king side. Now rook takes b3 can be played. Why are you trying to exchange? You can get this b3 pawn for free. So black wants to go for attack rather than material. Knight f2 and now knight h3 is possible check. And but how is it going to still help? And now knight e4 can be played. Oh, that's an exchange given away by white. I think this is losing for white now. That's a blunder actually. So let's go back to the blunder. This is losing for white. Let's not check the game further. Let's go back to the position where the blunder happened. The queen c2 move. Yep. So queen was controlling critical squares here. This e3, f3, and that was the only move which was not allowing this queen to intrude into the king side. Okay, but here white played queen to c2, and suddenly there was this entry for this queen, and then black was completely dominating the position. So after queen f3, queen g2, I think rook b3 was okay. Rook b3 was not possible because of then rook takes b3, queen takes b3, and queen takes a8 check. Okay, that's something I missed. So rook takes b3 was not possible. Queen takes queen was the right move. Yes, queen takes queen, rook takes and queen takes and then the rook check. So yes, good moves by black. And let's go back to tournament. Last 7 minutes remaining, guys. Now let's check. Gujarat Lions are on top today with 61 points, just a small margin of 5 points. Can Khelo Chess India today get those 5 points? Or will Chess Blasters get those 5 points to get on the first position? And who will be second? Because both Khelo Chess India and Chess Blasters are playing on 56. Let me join and try to help my team at least to get couple of points and make sure that they are on the second position right now for at least today's tournament. From the individual point of view, we have Kawal from Khelo Chess India leading with 28 points. Then we have Chess Blaster Sony Atharva. Then we have Parik Hari Krishna from Gujarat Lions. Gujarat Lions, there are three, four, five, six players. Chess Blasters, we have two players from Chess Blasters and two from Khelo Chess India. So we have Kawal and DK Pawar. So both are playing from Khelo Chess India. Let me join you guys for a game and try to put some points in our kitty. Yes, I got a game against PSL. Let's try to play in the Berserk mode this game, guys. Let's try to have some fun and have some fireworks on the board. So e4, e5, let's play d4. Let's try to go for a full-fledged attack here. I did the same yesterday, but I paid the price. I lost the game. But let's try to be better today and try to play some good chess. So this is bishop. This is called a Danish gambits, wherein you play and give away all these pawns, but you get these beautiful bishops on this lined up on this king side for the attack. And knight f6, I can play e5. Just attack this knight once. Queen e7, and I think I can play knight f3 now. I think d5 will be played. Knight c6, I can go for castle so that this knight is now hanging. Knight e5, I can just capture the knight. It's a free knight for me. Thank you very much for the gift. And now there is a threat of rook to e1. An evil threat of rook to e1. Also, the knight takes f7 is possible. I have bishop a3 also now. Let's try to play bishop a3 first. c4 bishop is supported by the knight. Nothing to worry about. This bishop is supported by the knight. And now I think knight to bishop to c7 can be played. Or should I play rook e1 first? Because now the threat is knight d7 and knight takes b6. I was expecting a difficult opponent in this round, but I got this. That's okay. I should not underestimate any players. All players are good here. They are trying to play from the best tactics that they can. Okay, so bishop e7. Let's capture the bishop first. If king captures, then I can play knight d7 check and try to capture the queen. And now knight takes b6 check. It's a black resign. Let's go back to tournament and try to play another game. I have just given 3 points to the team, but I think my score is not being considered because I'm on 9 and the third player is on 12, so my score may not be considered here. I got another one. Let's play this in Berserk mode again. So this is Swapnil from the 7-star online players. He's playing c6. Let's just try to play panobotinic attack here. That is c4, pawn takes, and we can play bishop b5 check. No, queen d5 has played, so d4 has to be played here, followed by knight c3 attacking the queen. So there is two options now. Knight c6, so I have to support this pawn. Bishop g4 is expected. I have to reply by bishop e2 to avoid this pin. There's a beautiful trap here, guys. If black tries to go for bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, queen takes d4, trying to figure out that he is getting an extra pawn, then there is a bishop takes c6 check, and this queen can be captured for free. That's a nice trap which happens in this line, what winning attack. It also happens sometimes in your all the lines wherein the c4 and e4 pawns are pushed a lot, and black has this bishop g4 pin. Let's try to give this check. Bishop might go back now to d7, and let's try to put this bishop here, bishop b5. I think he'll exchange the bishops so that I can exchange back. So last 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining, guys. I still have this bishop f4 move so that if queen takes f4, I can capture the knight. But then there is a move of e6 possible to attack my queen. But I can capture the pawn on b7 and try to attack this rook later on. So a difficult and different move here. Knight d5. Can I capture the knight back? This knight will capture, and then I can play. Okay, there are no specific threats. Let me castle quickly. I've gifted the pawn to black. I have to make sure that I get a better position now. I have 50 seconds on the clock, 2 minutes with the opponent, and 1 minute 23 seconds for the tournament to end. Can I win this one? I might win, but the score might not get counted because of this time that the last time is left for this battle to end. Knight takes e3. Okay, I have bishop takes d7 first with me, and knight e2 check can be played later on. So let me capture this bishop first, and then this knight. Knight e2 is something I'm okay with. Knight goes to d5. Okay, let me just play queen to b3. Pawn to e6 will be played now. I have knight e5 move. It might not work, but I have to try something now because I just cannot sit idle and wait for the things to happen. So queen d6, then knight c4. Queen c7 can be played. Queen c7, yes. Queen c7 I think is a better move. And then knight can go to d3 now, just making sure. Now bishop d6 is expected to attack this h2 pawn. I have to push the pawn to save it. castles is expected now, and then I have to develop my bishop to g5 so that my rook can come to c1 now. My opponent offers a draw. Let me go for a draw this one because last 2 seconds are remaining and the tournament time is over. Let's go back to the tournament and check this one because I accepted draw because I was losing on time, guys. Even though the position would have been good, I might have lost on time. So let's go back to tournament. Tournament I think is over now, and yeah, okay, leave. Okay, I think draw. What happened, guys? I am not sure. I think I accepted draw, but the draw wasn't there for me. Okay, so this is the final round ranking. Gujarat Lions have won today with 70 points. They have got their revenge from yesterday. I think they lost. They were on second place. Chess Blasters won yesterday. But surprisingly, Khelo Chess India, we have 61 points on second place. Kawal from Khelo Chess India has triumphed today with 29 points. And then we have 16 and 16 from Khelo Chess India. We have Parik Harikrishna from Gujarat Lions with 25 points leading the team. Then we have 24 points by beginner player 555 and we have Vivek on 21. Chess Blasters today are on third place. Sony Atharva is leading with 27 points. Then we have Kagua Master with 19 and then we have Ajit Janu, a new player from Chess Blasters on 14. We have Kolkata Dragons on fourth place. Cost Accountant is on 16 points. Then we have Arjun the Great and then we have Debargya. Debargya C98 on third place from Kolkata Dragons. Shivai Chess is a new team playing from last 3 or 4 days. We have Om Namah Shivaya on 14, then we have Yogi on 12, and then we have Soham on 9. 7-star online player Swapnil with 10 points is leading from 7-star online player. 9 points on Mappermar player, if I'm not wrong. Permar, okay, and 5 from MPHS. So 7-star is currently on last position. And congratulations to Gujarat Lions, Khelo Chess India, and Chess Blasters, the top three teams. From the individual point of view, we have Kamal from Khelo Chess India with whooping 29 points, and we have Soni Atharva from Chess Blasters on 27, Parik Harikrishna from Gujarat Lions on 25, beginner player 555 from Gujarat Lions on 24, Vivek from Gujarat Lions again from 21 points. Dilip from Gujarat Lions on 19. Kagwa Master from Chess Blasters on 19. Smith Mystery on Gujarat Lions from Gujarat Lions on 18. Kunjali Marakkar from Khelo Chess India on 16. And Cost Accountant from Kolkata Dragons on 16. So that's all for today, guys. And I'm just looking at if there are any questions. So no questions on the YouTube chat for now. And what is the any questions in the comment section here. I wanted to play Rook Day, so no questions here. So that's the tournament for today, guys. 23rd Khelo Chess India team battle. The winners are Gujarat Lions. A very good play from Gujarat Lions as usual. And that's it for today. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, just a request to all of you to subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and like the video. If you haven't checked our India versus Pakistan video, just go back and check India versus Pakistan video. There are a lot of good games that we have analyzed and we have explained the tactics and openings from those games, and we have a new tournament coming up between Khelo Chess India team and the Pakistani team soon this weekend. So stay tuned. There will be a news out soon about India versus Pakistan coming up this weekend. So stay tuned, guys. And till then, we meet tomorrow again at 9:30. Bye bye and take care.